March NBA basketball sucks and you just shouldn't watch it. Obviously, being a little bit dramatic there, you shouldn't not watch NBA basketball in March. But March is probably like the fakest time in NBA. Like, it's pretty much the last full month of the season. Teams out of nowhere going crazy runs. You look like the Chicago Bulls and like teams like the Atlanta Hawks. You have teams skidding. You have players injured, sitting out all the time. You have players that every March seem to go crazy, big tears. Kobe White, seen the past couple years, Jalen Green pretty much every year makes you think he's a superstar player. They come into next season, they're like, ooh, maybe that run in March wasn't really real. March basketball is full of like teams that are tanking, really trying to tank. If you're looking at the Raptors team, it's like they'll play 3 quarters with their starters and then just pull everybody and just try to lose the game organic. I say organically, but like they are pulling their players, but they're not. I don't. It's weird. However you look at that, is that ethical tanking? I don't really know. You got the Wizards, the Jazz, the 76ers, the Raptors. Like I said, are all teams that are, at this point in time, fighting for lottery odds. But the weirdest thing about that is if you ask any NBA player, well, maybe not like Jakob Poeltl, but like Cam Johnson's been going around on a media tour recently, one podcast, which has been really fun to listen to. Players want to win games. These players are not interested in tanking. They're not looking at like, oh, well, if we purposely lose games, we can have Cooper Flagg, we can have Ace Bailey, we can have Dylan Harper on our team next season. They're not looking at it like that. They're fighting for their contracts, for their jobs. They want to go out and win every single game because they truly believe they can win games, which is how it should be. But then it starts creating this weird dynamic, especially as you get later in the season, where it's like, you know, you see a Raptors team that just had a buzzer beater over the Wizards the other night, and like a lot of fans are like upset at that. They're like, why are we winning games? We're trying to get a top pick. We're trying to bring in Cooper Flagg to like maybe turn our franchise around long term, but players don't care. Players do not care about these top picks. And like I said, March basketball is like, it's in that weird time frame where it's mixed in with March Madness. And honestly, a lot of the time people are now picking to watch March Madness over NBA basketball. It's because March Madness is more exciting. It's because NBA basketball is not very good at this time of year. Maybe they both coincide with each other, one the other. You just see a lot of like players on 2 ways, players on 10 days, players that are just not usually playing, getting a lot of minutes for, again, teams that are tanking. Why am I playing my 4 best players if I know we're going to win 22 games this season? If I can get these end of the bench guys some burn, because that way they get to play, but at the same time we are going to lose the game. Denny Avdia, again, was good last year, had kind of his breakout season last year, has been phenomenal this season. He's been absolutely phenomenal. Through this stretch, he's been averaging, 30-some points a game? Like, I don't know. He's damn near looked like a number 1 option. We all know Denny Avdia is not a number 1 option, but again, kind of like Jalen Green of years past, like Kobe White the past 2 years. You look at this March basketball, and they play this insane brand of basketball that kind of gets fans hopeful for next year, and it's just kind of all a smokescreen. Like, it doesn't really mean much of anything because at this point in time, the Blazers aren't going to make the play-in most likely, so they're just kind of out there playing, man. There's a tweet here. I'm going to pull it up to make sure I give the proper credit here. This is what I saw. If anything's factually incorrect, look at the tweet. I'm just reading the tweet right here. This is from Mr. Statistician Faceman, Tom Haberstroth, however you want to pronounce that. These are stars that were not playing a DNP. This is March 19th. This is about a week from my recording this. But stars that were out. Anthony Davis has been dealing with his injury. Kyrie Irving out for the season. Tyus Halliburton's been dealing with his injuries, just not getting back in the lineup. Andrew Wiggins, injuries. DeJounte Murray out for the season. Jalen Brunson out for a couple weeks. De'Aaron Fox out for the season. Vic out for the season. Joel Embiid out for the season. Paul George out for the season. Tyrese Maxey having his injuries, like just hiccups here and there. Shea, again, some rest, injury hiccups, just make sure things are cool. Same with Jalen Williams, been dealing with an injury recently. Chris Middleton, same thing. Lauri Markkanen, injury/rest that they kind of got fined $100,000 for because they were just kind of resting players. You know how the NBA feels about that nowadays. Darius Garland, same thing. Zach LaVine, same thing. Kind of just rest, a little bit of injury management. Sabonis has been dealing with an injury. Jokic, an injury. LeBron James was out for about a week and a half, 2 weeks. John Morant's been in and out all season. That's 21 star-level players that missed in a single night of basketball. And again, a good chunk of those guys are out for the season because of injuries. And I think it's been another thing that this season has felt a little bit different to people because we've had so many great players, MVP level players, and Joel Embiid pretty much not play a 70% of the 60 to 70% of the season and are now out for the rest of the year. Teams like the 76ers that I think a lot of people thought were going to be really, really good just weren't good. Like, they had the injury issues when they somewhat were healthy, just weren't good. Just not. It's a weird. We're at such a weird part in time of the season, and a lot of people was like, well, what if we just shorten the NBA season? You kind of remove the March games, and a lot of people were like, a 66 game season, a 70 game season. But I think the point is that it doesn't matter if there's 66 games or there's 70 games or there's 82 games. Sure, you in theory think there might be more health if there's less games to be played, but as long as the last 2 to 3 weeks of the season is the last 2 to 3 weeks of the season, teams that are trying to tank are going to tank. Whether they have to tank the last 10 games, whether they have to tank the last 20 games, whether they've played good for 50 or they've played good for 40, they're going to tank because they want that pick. The coaches are going to do what they can. The coaches are going to get together with the executives in the front office and be like, listen, we want to have the best odds possible for a top pick to get a franchise-altering player, potentially. And that's going to happen no matter how many games you play. It's what it is. And injuries are going to happen no matter how many games you play. A lot of these injuries are just accidents. They're just accidents, man. It's something that people tear their ACL in real life. Like, not even playing sports, just real life, tear your ACL. You fall a weird way and break your bone. Happens. It doesn't matter how many games you play. I could break a bone, like, I'll not go wood, obviously. I could break a bone, come back, play 2 games, and break another one just because of the way I land. Like, I guess you could have the argument of, like, if you have less games, there's less opportunities to get injured, which I guess, yes, you're technically right. They're going out there less amount of times, so there's a less chance you get injured. But at the same time, while you're still out on that court, the chance of you getting injured it stays the same while you're out on the court. I think the only way the NBA can kind of alter the season, and maybe that is taking out a few games, is taking out multiple back-to-backs, taking out the 4 games in 5 days, the three games in 5 days. Like, you have these teams that are playing multiple games within a short amount of time. That's where the games should be taken out. Maybe that does result in a 70-game season over an 82-game season. I don't think they're going to do that. I think the NBA wants as much money. Like, you look at the NFL, they keep adding more games to the regular season. It's a money thing. These companies, these organizations, they want money. It's just what it is. They care about the money more than they care about the players' health. It's just what it is, unfortunately. But you take out those like, you have a back-to-back, you have a day off, you have a game, you have another game off, day off, then you have another back-to-back. Like, you have shit like that. Take out those 2 back-to-backs and just have game off, game off. You get what I'm saying? Like, take out, when there's a concentrated amount of games in a short amount of time, remove 1 or 2 of those games. I think that's the way, the way of trying to combat the amount of injuries. If I just say, hey, listen, we're going to stop the season earlier, instead of the season stop at the beginning of April, it's going to stop at the beginning of March. And one, you're going to compete with March Madness, and people are just going to be so interested in March Madness that the NBA will lose viewership into the playoffs if they start the playoffs earlier. It's the truth of the matter. It is what it is. But I think you could keep the season the same time length, as in like end of October to beginning of April for regular season. But again, just the amount of games they play in that stretch is lessened. Because, I mean, you can literally every night of the week turn on your TV, go to the NBA League Pass, national TV, whatever you want to do, and there is an NBA game on. They play every single night. As a fan, it's great. If somebody that does content on basketball, it's great. Any night I can tune in, watch a team do this, watch a team do that. But it's okay if there's maybe like 2 nights a week where there's no games because they're giving like universal rest days to these players. The NFL plays 3 games a week. They're on through. It's Sunday, Monday, Thursday. I was like 3 nights a week they are playing games. Obviously, football is a much rougher, more physically demanding sport than a basketball is, but at the end of the day, these basketball players are still having content. They're still running up and down this court. They're still hitting each other. They're still putting a lot of stress on their body. They deserve some time off, and I know when you start talking about what athletes deserve, a lot of people get kind of weird because people are like, oh, you make a lot of money, you don't deserve the same rights as us. Whoa, that's a nasty conversation to get a part of, and I think it's just kind of ridiculous. Do you trust the Bulls team that's been 8-4 in March? What have the Bulls been? Bulls have been 8-4 in March. They just had a huge win over the Lakers. Do you trust the Bulls being a fun young team next season? Maybe you do. But do you trust them to be anywhere outside of 8 through 11 in seeding? No, it doesn't really mean much. Hawks, same thing. They've been trying to recapitulate that high they had running to the Eastern Conference Finals a few years ago. It's been nothing but play-in since. You look at the recent the stretch, the Miami Heat have been 2-11 in March. Do you think they're going to be that bad going into next season? I wouldn't think so. I mean, yeah, they don't have Jimmy Butler anymore, but they still have Tyler Hero, who's an all-star level player. Wasn't all-star this year. Bam Adebayo, an all-star level player. Clay Ware's been a really good rookie. You have your role players and Jaime Jaquez. Your Nikola Jovic, you hopefully takes a step. I don't really know what you're going to get for Terry Rozier. He's not very good. It's just what it is. But, like, the Pelicans have been bad all year, so it's kind of a weird example there. The Trailblazers won, like, 11 games in a row, 11 out of 13 earlier in the season. Now have been 5-7 in March. Okay, are they going to be a legitimate play-in team next year, or are they not going to be a legitimate play-in team next year? The Magic are 5-6 in March. I mean, they have Paolo Banchero, they have Franz Wagner, and yeah, a lot of them, the time they haven't been able to stay healthy this season, but they're just really, really bad. Is that something we can look at to next season? The New York Knicks are 5-6. Again, without Jalen Brunson, you have to take a look into that. But it's like the Denver Nuggets, 6-7. A team that started the first 10 games of the season was a little rough. Then he picked it up, he back to a top seed, and now have been kind of struggling again. The Phoenix Suns, 7-5. Bucks, 7-6. Like, these are just teams that are like, I don't think March basketball means anything besides letting younger players, letting end-of-the-bench players go out there and rock. And honestly, I think that's kind of like the joy in it. If you're looking, like, I just, it's going to be a buzzword here, but I just enjoy basketball enough that it's like, I can see these 10th men, so Jamal Shed, come off the bench and just be like, have a rock out, hit a game winner, and I can have fun with that because it's just a fun thing to happen. It's just a cool thing to say happen. But then you go online and people are just bitching and complaining because this team's trying to lose, this team's trying to do it, blah, blah, blah. People just want to complain. Like, literally all the time, just want to complain. In the month of March, the Spurs have the best offense in the league at 124.3. The Spurs, without Vic, without De'Aaron Fox, have the best offense in March. Okay, let's look at defense. Who is the best defense? The Detroit Pistons. Okay, New York Knicks have the second best defense in March. They're 5-6, a 109.5 defensive rating. The Raptors at 5th. I mean, it's just like, this doesn't mean anything at all. But you've got to be able to just sit back and enjoy watching what you're watching. You're getting to see potentially, maybe not star players. You're not looking at like a Jamal Shed. Maybe like I'll get into Josh Giddey in a sec. But like, you're probably not watching a star breakout. But you're seeing guys that are making a role for themselves where maybe next season can step into being a solid, consistent role player for their team. But then again, like I was mentioning, Josh Giddey has been really, really good pretty much since the start of the calendar year. And like, do I think he's going to be a team leader? Like, do I think he's going to be best player on the team? No, I don't. But I think there's at least enough there you're seeing from Josh Giddey where like you might look at him as a potential stealing of like an all-star type of player. And it's like, okay, is what we're seeing from him real? He's shooting like 50%, like 48 to 50% from 3. That's not real. He's never really been a great 3-point shooter. But still being able to get into the paint and score, which is something he has also struggled with. His half-court passing, full-court passing. His defense is still not great. But it's really, like, are there enough pieces there where you feel like consistent as a Bulls fan to be like, okay, we gave up Alex Caruso for Josh Giddey straight up. No picks involved. We at least got somebody to help build around with Kobe White, with Modest Buzelis. I'm throwing Patrick Williams out the window. I just don't think he's going to fit the team anymore. But a Dalen Terry, a Julian Phillips, like, the Bulls are definitely one of those teams that seem to fall victim to this March basketball a lot, like I said with Kobe White the past couple years. But I think the Bulls now have a couple pieces in Kobe White and now Josh Giddey and now Modest Buzelis, because in years past, Kobe White's always been like a fringe, like he can score the ball, it's what he can do, but he's behind Zach LaVine, he was behind DeMar DeRozan, he was behind Vucevic, he was behind them trying to get Patrick Williams to turn out being what he was for a top pick. Now, LaVine's gone, DeMar DeRozan's gone, Vucevic is still around, but he doesn't really demand the ball, the attention that those other guys did, and they've pretty clearly decided that Patrick Williams is just not worth it. So Kobe White has the ball in his hands a lot more time. You're seeing that's why he averages damn near 30 every March, because it's like end of the season, let him rock out. I think next season is the year for Josh Giddey and Kobe White to have a backcourt that's going to be fun, exciting, good offense. The defense is not going to be good, but I think this Bulls team is, unfortunately for Bulls fans, probably going to be a play-in team next year as well, just because the Eastern Conference sucks. But you know what? If you can have fun watching your team, then March basketball is the place for you.